Yes, people, welcome back because finally the saga is over. I am a happy man. I'm a happy man because we've got one player out and we've got another player in. Ryan and Bumo came in this summer. Alejandro Garnacho has finally left the football club. It's done. It's finished. He's on his way to Chelsea, and I'm just so happy now that finally we can put that situation and that player to bed, and Man United can just move on. The fan base can just move on. This has been going on for too long for a player that, for me, overrated, overhyped. And I said it from the moment he came through the doors at this football club into the first team under Eric Ten Hag. But people were there screaming, give him the number 7 shirt. You know, he's the future. He's going to help us win this, win that. No, no. He played a part in winning the Carabao Cup. He played his part in winning the FA Cup, and I'm happy for that. But I knew that Garnacho was not going to last at Manchester United, and if not, even become the player that some people thought he would become. And now he is joining Chelsea Football Club because finally they have agreed a deal with Manchester United worth up to £40 million in a package. Confirmed here by Fabrizio Romano. Garnacho to Chelsea. Here we go. Deal done. This feels good, man. I can't lie. I'm happy. That is why I put on the thumbnail unhappy, because I actually wanted him to leave the club. I really did. And this was even really before the saga, because I just felt like Man United were going to get roped in to giving this guy an abundance amount of money when really he's just, for me, he's just not that good. He's just not that good. And I'm going to see if Chelsea fans find that out for themselves, because I know there was some Chelsea fans that out there that didn't want him. And there might be some of you watching now that didn't want him. And there might be some of you guys that really did want him. Either way, just make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe, because Garnacho now leaves and he's going on his new chapter to Chelsea. And, you know, he's still a young player, 21 years of age. So he's still got his best years ahead of him in his case. But I'll be honest with you, I've been quite surprised that Chelsea have been so strong on getting this player. And it looks like they've probably even chosen him over Xavi Simons now, who's set to maybe join Spurs as I make this video. But Chelsea have been so strong on trying to get Alejandro Garnacho in. And I'm intrigued to see why. I know Maresca likes his young players. I know Maresca wants to bring young players into his team, coach him his way. He likes 1v1 players. But I still look at Garnacho and look, I've watched him enough at Man United, a lot, in fact. And there's so much to his game he needs to work on. He's definitely not the finished article. And I definitely feel like he brings more frustration out of you as a fan than joy. But Chelsea are going to have to find out this the hard way now. But the first thing is, let's talk about the fee, because Manchester United have got 40 million as a total package. And I'll be honest with you, I've said on numerous platforms that 40 million was the starting figure of what I would accept for Alejandro Garnacho. Because look, we've seen players such as Gittins go to Chelsea for over 50 million. You know, there's been players like Mateus Fernandes going to West Ham United for up to 42, 45 million potentially. So when you look at players and what they've done, what they've achieved, and they're going for more money, yes, we know the situation with Garnacho. He wants to leave. Amrim don't want him in his plans. He's talked on social media and stuff like that. The situation has not got healthy, if I'm honest. It's become very unhealthy. And when that happens, yes, it lowers the fee of someone, because they both just want to leave. The club want him out. The player wants out. However, you still got to remember that this guy has helped Manchester United win 2 trophies, right? He's played a big part in Eric Ten Hag's tenure at the club. He was then start of, Amrim's time at the club. And he's still 21 years of age, and he's an Argentinian international. And no matter whether I like him or not, we can't take that away from him, because his upside potentially could be that way, because he is 21. He's going to Chelsea now. He's going to play in the Champions League. He's going to probably get game time in the Premier League, of course. That's why he's going there. He's part of Maresca's plans. That's why they've waited at least a month or two to sign him. But for me, 40 million was the starting fee, because we have to get that. Because despite how I feel about him, I've got to remember the potential of what he could become. Also, what he's achieved. He's an Argentinian international. When you put them things all on the table, it's much more than Gittins. It's much more than Mateus Fernandes. It's much more than a lot of players that have been on the move for bigger money. So when, you look at Anthony Elanga going to Newcastle, 55 million. Garnacho, for me, should have been 50 million. Really, truthfully, it should have been 50 million. But I'll accept 40 million because of the situation we've been. That Manchester United have still not got rid of Anthony. Sancho's still at the club. Rashford went out on loan. So we need to make some sort of money. And also the money that we recoup from the signing of Garnacho is effectively all profit because he was signed for like 700k from Atletico Madrid. So 40 million is the figure. And that was the lowest I was taking. Chelsea were trying to finesse us for 35 million. 30 million. Who do you think you are? It's like that meme on Twitter. Come on now, Chelsea. Don't do that. Come on now, Chelsea. Come on, Chelsea. Like, literally, that's how it felt. Because they were trying to pull our pants down by selling Nkunku to AC Milan for 42 million or whatever it is, and trying to get Garnacho for 35. Nah. Premier League proven in Garnacho, 21 years of age, more upside. Don't do that. We had to get 40 million. And look, I'll accept it. Man United have now got a play off the books. They've got profit. They've got money in the bank. Are we going to go out and spend it? I don't know. But obviously, we're talking about it from a Chelsea standpoint. I'm very intrigued to see if Chelsea fans wanted him. So I want you to let me know in the comments. But how does he now set up for Chelsea? Because when you look at Chelsea, they've got Pedro Neto. They've got Gittins. You've got João Pedro. You've got Esteval. There's competition for places there now. One thing with Garnacho we know is that he can play on the left and he can play on the right. So he can play both sides. And he's going to be now competing with Esteval on the right-hand side, Pedro Neto, Gittins on the left. Esteval can play on the left, even though he's more, let's put him as a right winger. João Pedro can play off the left. Pedro Neto. So Pedro Neto, Gittins on the left, right? João Pedro can sometimes play there. But then you've got Esteval and Pedro Neto on the right. So I'm looking at it thinking Garnacho is perhaps going to be the guy that's going to be playing on the right-hand side. And now they're going to shift Pedro Neto to permanently the left-hand side. And him and Esteval can now compete. It's going to be a South American playoff. Brazil versus Argentina, who can start for Chelsea. But with them being in the Champions League, with them being in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, obviously competing for the Premier League and staying in the top four, hopefully sniffing maybe in the title race, he is going to get game time. And it will be so interesting to see if Maresca can fine-tune his game. Because one thing about Garnacho is that he can frustrate. I think he's overhyped. Because I don't think great 1v1. I don't think he has the pace to take on a player 1v1. Garnacho's best performances for Manchester United were coming off the bench. When he was coming on against tired legs. When he was starting physically from minute one against opposing fullbacks from minute one, he struggled. He never had the pace and the strength to get past his man. And I feel like that's what Esteval can bring to Chelsea right now. That's what Pedro Neto can do. And I just think Garnacho struggles with that. I think people think he's quicker than what he is. 1v1, he will struggle unless he's coming on against tired legs. That's what I'm making my prediction on right now. Also, his finishing is poor. His finishing is poor. It reminds me a bit like Raheem Sterling. When they strike a ball, it's never clean. They never strike it and put their foot through the ball. So I think his finishing needs to be work on Garnacho. And also his decision-making. His decision-making in the final third was something that made me lose my hairline. Because it was just poor. He would get into some good positions, make runs in behind. And it's either like, right, play your partner in or square it across the box. Or he'll shoot when he shouldn't shoot. He'll pass when he should shoot. And this is something when you're playing at a team like Chelsea that are expected to win most games and have a high expectation, their fans, of winning trophies. You can't be making the mistakes because people will start clocking on very quickly. So Garnacho going to Chelsea, I really am intrigued to see if the frustrations that I saw at Manchester United come out at Chelsea Football Club. One thing I will give him, and I think the upside that will help Chelsea, them being a young squad, some of the players lacking a bit more Premier League experience than Garnacho because he has got quite a bit of Premier League experience now, is he's got a strong mentality. And I think if you're going to play at a top team like Chelsea, you need to have a strong mentality. And I think that's what can really help him in that transition to that football club and help him actually progress and kick on despite tough times. Because, yeah, all football players get a bit down. All football players rely on a bit of confidence, especially as a front man or a winger. But one thing about Garnacho is he's had testing times at Man United and he's always tried coming through it. He's always tried giving 100%. He's always tried responding. And even to the crowd that didn't like him, there was a situation with Faz. I don't know if anyone saw it when he went to Old Trafford and he was trying to give him advice and stuff like that. And it went viral. But Garnacho then, he would try and respond to that. He would use that as fuel for the fire. And I think when he's going into a Chelsea team now where competition are high for places, they're trying to have aspirations of winning trophies. They've just come off the back of winning a Club World Cup. His mentality will slot in with the Chelsea mentality because that South American, Argentinian way is just strong. And Enzo Fernandez is there as well. And he's going to play a key part in allowing him to adjust, helping him settle, you know, putting his arm around his shoulder and trying to be a bit more like a bigger brother. And that might help him as well. So it's going to be so interesting to see how this pans out for Chelsea because the competition for places is high, but I think he's going to be favoured to playing on the right-hand side and competing with Esteval in that spot. I think the mentality is a plus that he will keep fighting and working hard. But I think the decision-making, the 1v1 ability and being able to take on his man and beat a man from minute one when he starts physically against his opponents needs to be worked on. And his finishing. So I think 40 million for Manchester United for a player that I didn't want at the football club because I didn't think he was as good as what everyone else thought. I'm happy to take that. And now we can move on. We've got Cunha, we've got an Mbumo, we've got Amad Diallo, and we'll potentially go into the market in the future. But for me, we had to get this player out. And I'm happy the saga is finally over. Garnacho joins Chelsea Football Club. And now I can watch from here. And if he does well, fair play. I'm not going to be one of them fans that says, oh, we made a mistake selling him. No, I'm not going to do that. McTominay left. He went well. He done well at Napoli. Mason Greenwood left the football club. He went to Marseille. He's doing well. If players go and they do well, fair play. That was meant to be part of their journey. Sometimes at a workplace, it doesn't always work out. And for Garnacho and Man United, we had some great moments, but long term, it wasn't going to work out. And if he goes and be a success at Chelsea, fair play to him. He'll prove me wrong. And also, good luck for his career. But for me, I'm so happy this saga is over. I wanted him out of the football club. Chelsea can now take over the reins. And let's see what he does at that football club. But guys, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. And let me know, do you think Garnacho is going to be a success or not? Like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bless up.